There are certain things that the buyer or buyers need to accomplish before you show them a house. That's an example. That could be defined as a criteria. And after you show the house, do you have a replicatable way, a system or a process that they're going through until they actually close on the home? How many of you would say you have a buyer process that's defined? If you have it written down, bonus points. But how many of you have a defined process that you know that once X happens, Y happens, then Z happens, and then you cycle all over again? We see some no's, we see some yeses, we see some nopes, we see some yes, we see I do after meeting, but no prior to meeting, no defined, no getting there, I need one. One of the quickest ways to not only conversion, but you're going to find how I tie this into lead generation in a couple of minutes, but not one of the quickest ways for you to actually convert leads at scale is by defining your process. A simple clarity on what that looks like for every buyer that you work with. If it's a $5 million buyer or if it's a $200,000 buyer, if you have the same process, you're not going to miss. You're just not going to miss. There's so many different things that you can do, and there's so many different things that you can do in your business that allow you to grow systematically. So one of the things that I want to encourage you today, and we can work on part of it, we were going to make it a workshop and actually work on it together. But since we're going to talk about lead generation as well, we're not going to have time to do that. But one of the things that I want to encourage you to do is to define your actual buying process. And beyond defining it for yourself, that's going to provide enough value in terms of clarity, but that's going to allow you to market and present yourself in a different way. So let's just say you had A, B, C, D, E, F. There's, I don't know how many letters that is, what, 6 letters? There's 6 steps in your buying process, your buying process. So if you're going to work with me, A needs to, 1 needs to happen, 2 needs to happen, 3 needs to happen, 4 needs to happen, and you go on. If you're able to clearly articulate that process to a home buyer, every single person that hears your pitch or your presentation or your consult is going to work with you because you're instilling that trust in them that you know what you're doing. You may not know. You may not know what you're doing. Maybe you're a little bit newer and you don't have as many up at bats. But if you're able to clearly articulate and deliver your message in such a way that brings some confidence to that other person, you're going to get the business, right? So one thing that I want to encourage you right now is to break down the buyer process for you. Are you going to be the agent that is running Facebook ads, and as soon as somebody comes over, you call them, first conversation, you're going to go and show them houses prior to get them pre-qualified? If that's you, awesome. That's your business. It's not mine to judge. But are you going to be the agent that everybody needs a pre-qualification before you show them that first house? And that's again, there's no right or wrong. Everyone does it different. So I have agents that will not show a single house until the pre-qual has been done. I have agents that will do the actual, I'll show you the first house and then you're going to sign a buyer rep agreement with me. And then we're going to go and see a ton more houses. And I have some agents, and I'll be completely candid with you. Outside of my first maybe 20 transactions or so, I didn't get a buyer rep agreement after that. Now it's a business decision. Now in some states some states it might be required, and in some brokerages it might be required. It just so happened that mine it didn't. So for me, my business decision was building enough rapport and then just going based off of, I guess, faith that ultimately I'm gonna get compensated, right? But I'm not suggesting that you do that. What I'm giving you is an example of what ended up happening with me, right? So it's something that you need to define for yourself of what you want it to look like. Now, the key here is, again, clarity is going to help you out a ton. A secondary benefit, however, is the conversion of more and more clients that are going to be wanting to work with you. So you're talking about clarity for self. So clarity of purpose helps out a ton. It's going to help you out with conversion. So that's another huge benefit to that. But another amazing benefit, this is actually where we start tying in some lead generation into it. It becomes a phenomenal marketing tool for you that now you're speaking a different way. Now you're presenting your brand in a different way. Now you have the Kim Augustine buyer's blueprint. Now you have the Dan's buyer's plan. Ooh, that almost sounds if you give me enough time with that, that might end up writing even better, right? So the Dan's plan, Dan, if you use it, just let me know. But anyway, so what we're talking about is, laugh out loud, I'm stealing it. You're allowing yourself to, again, have a different conversation, presenting yourself in a different way. So not only do you have clarity for yourself, so it's going to allow you to grow faster internally, bringing in VAs, bringing in assistants, bringing in buyer's agents, bringing in any support that you need, because now you're able to hand that off. You have that clarity for yourself, but you're also, the up at bats that you have are going to be so better presented that more and more people are going to have trust instantly with you and ultimately go with you, because there's a sense that you know what you're talking about. It may not be true. You may just be able to present your points, but at the end of the day, you're at least getting those opportunities. But that third equation is you're able to market yourself in a different way. You're able to run the Facebook ads. You're able to run the Google ads. You're able to run the YouTube ads. You're able to make YouTube videos that you're effectively saying that you're a cut above, or sharing that you're a cut above and presenting yourself in a different way. When in reality, here's the secret. You may not be doing anything different than what a Keisha is doing, than what a Rondrick is doing, than what a Luis is doing, than what a Jaime is doing. You may not be doing anything different, but to the public, it sounds so different that they're willing to work with you. So it's not necessarily the person that is, this isn't too much of a controversial statement, but it's not necessarily the person that's most qualified that wins, is the person that is better able to articulate their value propositions, the one that wins. And I hope that many of you kind of take that in the right way. I'm not saying that we're not qualified. I'm just saying that there's folks that from the marketing side, there's folks that are way better at marketing than I am, but because they're not able to present themselves in a different way through a different lens, I quote unquote get the business, whatever business that happens to be, from the listing side as well, right? So we've all gone against agents that have listed thousands of homes, and this may be your second or third, fourth, or fifth home, but you were able to present yourself in a different way, right? So we were going to go through this exercise, and Ian dropped the buyer process. Feel free to take that. Feel free to leverage that for yours. Slap your logo on it and off to the races. But as long as you have that clarity for your internal business, that's step number one. That utility that you get from defining your buyer process, that's step number one, or benefit number one. Benefit number two, which is what we were going to talk about, the conversion strategy. It helps you convert a hell of a lot more people. Because think about it this way. Now, if you're able to improve your conversion by 25%, you don't need as many leads any longer, right? You don't need to run the thousands of dollars worth of ad spend. You don't need to run hundreds of ads worth of hundreds of dollars worth of ads. You have a smaller subset, but you're able to convert at such a higher level, right? So you don't need as many up at bats to hit as many home runs any longer, because you're a bit more refined there. And how we tie this into lead generation is this plan, this roadmap, this blueprint. For the terminology that I use with our internal agents is the rocket ship. So we have the listing rocket ship, or the buyer's, no, I don't call it buyer's rocket ship. I call it the listing rocket ship. Let me think. Ooh, bad example. Let me find it. But from the listing side, so we have the listing rocket ship. So that's terminology that I use, where we have everything lined out, everything in sequential order, and every single client that we work with gets the exact things that are about to happen with the exact dates that are about to happen. So here in a little bit, I'll share it with you so you kind of see what I'm talking about. But there's so much clarity on what's about to happen with the buyers that there's no questions. Well, I shouldn't say that. Minimal questions. We still check in with them fairly frequently. Caroline, it might be because you came in after. I don't know why you can't see it, but she's saying can't see the PDF. I'll drop the attachment here in a little bit. Again, now is this making sense? I know I'm talking quite a bit, but really what I want to illustrate here is we have the clarity of purpose, benefit number one. We have the conversion benefit, which is what we're going to talk about. But we also have the lead generation component, where as you're presenting yourself through these channels, these marketing channels, more and more people will reach out to you. And here's some of you talked about let me turn on the fan because it's so hot. Some of you talked about YouTube before we got going. One thing, once you define let me show this on the screen. I think this would be valuable to you. Once you have your buyer's process lined out, here's how you weaponize it to attract business at scale. So let's share real quick. So here's what I'm talking about. So this is what Ian shared on the chat. You are able to see this, right? You're able to see the process.
Yeah, we're good to go, man.
We have meet with the real estate agent, get pre-approved, search for homes, make an offer, negotiation and contract, in escrow, final details, closing. If you're in alignment with all this, cool. If you want to throw in your nuance in there, awesome. If you want to take something out of here, doesn't matter. It's up to you. But what you want to do is make this not only a roadmap for your clients. So we're talking about benefit one. Not only make this a roadmap for your clients, but a roadmap for yourself and your internal team. Because you're able to break this into little segments that people on your team, as you continue to grow, will be able to help you out with these. Maybe not this particular example, but anyway, so you're defining the home buying process. The second benefit is you presenting this as your plan, as your guide, as your blueprint, if you will. That's going to help you with conversion. And then we talked about the third benefit of this being allowing your brand to stand out by you standing above and beyond the competition out there that are just kind of figuring it out or kind of winging it, if you will. And if you're in that place right now, that's okay too. It's just having this information in front of you now. I would encourage you to if you're going to get to that next level, I would encourage you to take this conversation a little bit more seriously, because this is going to be the difference between those, they coulda, shoulda, woulda gone with me, but for some reason they didn't. It's going to allow those people that kind of slip through the cracks to start converting at a larger scale. But here's what I was getting at with how you actually attract leads at scale. Each one of these, let's call this 8 steps or 8 stages. Each one of these on its own can bring business to you. And here's how. We've been talking about video for a long time. And what you can do with this particular graph or any process that you create, you can create a video out of this, and you can place this video on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on TikTok, on any video platform, video hosting platform that'll have it. But the one that I really want to hone in on right now is YouTube, because I've been beating this drum since 2018, and it's really, really gotten it's grown much faster than I ever thought it would, in terms of business for agents and business for the personal business that we have going on. So what this looks like in practice for you is making a video on the pre-approval process, making a video on how to search for homes effectively, how to make an offer and win. And these are all title suggestions, if you will. Negotiating and contract, never lose another home buying negotiation. That's another title right there. And then explaining the process in escrow, because what you're going to find once you make these videos, here's where we add another layer, but I won't touch on it too much. But this alone, the videos that you're making and putting them on YouTube, it doesn't require any extensive, you should know this. You're a real estate professional at this point. You making these videos, they could be a minute long, or they could be 20 minutes long, however long you want them to be. But the moment you put them on YouTube is the moment that people from the general public that have no earthly idea who you are going to reach out to you, right? It's the moment that people will come to you. You're just providing information that you would share to your people that are already in your database for free. The people that are already working with you for free. You have to do this. This is part of your work. You're a real estate professional. You have to explain, how we're gonna search for homes, how we're gonna make an offer, how we're gonna negotiate, what happens in escrow, the final details before closing, what happens at closing. You have to do this anyway. So why not ahead of time get this literature or videos out there for the general public to see, that not only are they going to benefit, but at some point they're going to be reaching out to you. Now, these particular videos, as I'm looking at this graphic for the first time, this particular videos that you're seeing here, those are more in line with what I have coined the workflow videos, which are effectively videos that you can integrate into your personal workflow to provide better customer service, to reduce the questions and leverage your time. So with these videos, can you imagine a world where you have 20 clients under contract? Just imagine that'd be fantastic, right? 20 clients under contract and having to manage all that. But also imagine a world with those same 20 clients, you have them in either a spreadsheet or CRM or transaction manager, whatever you use, have them all broken out, and you know the next step that they're going to. And as soon as they hit the in escrow step, boom, they get a video with you personally detailing everything that's going to happen in escrow. 7 days before their closing, they hit that next bucket, they hit that next step, that next phase, and boom, they get another video with you detailing what needs to happen between now and closing. The day of closing or the day after closing, so you're a homeowner, do X, Y, Z, and A, B, C, D, F, Y, and G, whatever. Do all of these steps and don't and make sure that they get done. Right? Can you imagine what that would do for your business, whether you have 20 clients or you have one? It's very duplicatable. It's something that allows you to grow at scale, but it doesn't happen until you define your process. Going back full circle here. You can popcorn around here. You can popcorn around different videos. You can make maybe a video you can talk about in one of your blogs how to get pre-approved. But is that going to really help you out in the long? Is that really maximizing your time as an entrepreneur? Because you have limited time, you have limited capital, as do we all. Everybody. Doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos, doesn't matter if you're whoever happens to be rich at the time, Elon Musk. Right? So that fourth or fifth level of leverage that we talked about here a couple of seconds ago, it doesn't happen until we have a defined process.